What's going on, YouTube? This is Luke with Endless Entrepreneurs. We are live. It is Tuesday night, about 10 p.m. I am tired. I look tired, and I am tired. This is kind of an impromptu video here. Just wanted to touch base with February wrapping up. I don't know how you guys' goals are doing out there, but as anyone knows who's been following me, I set a 350 listing goal each month. And this is month 2 of this year, and with 3 less days of the month, a new job, and a bunch of other stuff going on, this has been a crazy month trying to keep pace. Those of you new to my channel, I'll wait for people to filter in. So we've got 9 people already. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me okay too. But if you're new to my channel, I am a corporate finance analyst and a part-time eBay seller. I'm building my business very seriously for the last year and a half or so. I've been reselling for quite a while now. Specialize in men's clothing, and so I've been really trying to focus in on these goals for February. So sorry if I'm a little slow. I'm a little beat. I have hey, thanks for joining. Who do we got here? We got Patrapreneur. I think that's a little play on entrepreneur. Welcome. Hi, Better Barbie. Hi, D Smack. Sean. Nova. Oh, from Oklahoma. Nice. Welcome from Nevada. We got people from all over. But yeah, I just thought it would be good before I went to bed. I am going to take the day off tomorrow, so I'm going to sleep in. And when I say sleep in, probably like 6:30, but that's still 2.5 hours more than I'm used to. Hi, Michelle. Yeah, Binghamton. I actually went to Binghamton University from upstate New York in that area. This is an old shirt. Oh, Rochester, New York. You're from on TV. Oh, but yeah, it's been a crazy month. Having 3 less days to hit your goals is just, I kind of underestimated that, and starting my new job at the beginning of the month has been nuts. I have had to list a little over 100 items since Saturday to hit my 350. So it's been a blur, but I did it. I did it, and I'm pretty excited about it. So how's everyone's months going? How are you guys doing on your goals? You guys hitting your listing goals? And yes, I am celebrating with a beer here. How many items I sell? So that's just it. This is actually going to be my best month ever. So 3 days short, so 28 days versus the normal 30 or 31. I am at $6,005 in sales right now. Let me see the items sold. I have sold 240 items. I did sell quite a few ties this month, so I think that is a big piece of why I've sold so many extra. I was expecting around like 220 items, but either way, I'm not complaining. 6,000, best month ever, which is pretty pumped to happen in February. Rhino LA said 9,000, or no, D-Smack said 3,900. Rhino made 9K. Wow, you guys are killing it. Good job. Hi, Dana. Thanks for joining. Yeah, February is a tough month, guys. Hi, Reseller Jane. Thanks, First Last. February can be a tough month. I've been listening to a lot of resellers and just talking with a lot of friends and stuff who resell, and January and February are rough. I mean, they can be really tough months, and all you really can do is increase your output, right? You can list more, you can source better, you can cut your prices, or you can run sales, and that's really all you can do. You can't control when the buyer pulls the trigger. So nice, Aaron, 2,300, great job. But I do feel like getting into March here, it's really going to pick up. I can feel the momentum, and probably backloading 100 listings from me the last 4 days will really help get a jump start in March. I also really messed up and left shoes were the last batch of items to put up to hit my 350, and I had like 25 pairs tonight. And shoes is not something I list very often, so it took me probably an extra hour longer than to do normal 25 items. So that was a little poorly planned on my part. Yeah, Charles, a lot of people are complaining about the sales being down, and thank you for the congrats. I appreciate it. I think that's why I'm a big believer. If anyone's watching a business plan video, like all you can control is your output. Right? Your effort and your attitude is all you can control. And I just really believe in the long play, right? Your long sample of time, you're going to hit your goals if you keep consistent with output. That's why, like for me, I almost folded. I almost was like, all right, whatever, 320, 325 is still crushing it for me and in my spare time. But it's just not. And that I knew that I had to do 350 per month for the year if I wanted to get to 100K. And so I still, it was very attainable, and I'm just glad that I knocked it out. No TV said, question, how much tax is taken out each sale, % of sold item? So tax isn't taken out at all on eBay's end, and it's not taken out at all on PayPal's end. You can choose to charge sales tax in this if it's a person in your state, which I don't do. I just paid the state tax in the back end. So your tax that you pay is actually just dependent on your tax bracket and like your personal taxes and stuff. So that's going to be dependent on every single person. Rhino just asked, how do you feel about the new changes on eBay? New changes, do you mean just the threshold to make top rated seller? Is that what you're talking about? Because if so, I don't actually have the discounts. My defect rate is too high. I have bad inventory that occasionally sells and I can't find it from when I move. So I need to get my defect rate down to get the highest discounts possible. Yeah, I mean, so I have a really, I don't know. It's one of those things where it is what it is, right? Like all this doing is it's the market now. It's the new market we're going to be in, and the sellers who adjust will survive and do really well, and the sellers who don't are going to get stuck. And I think for my model personally, I'm not as worried because I'm not a low margin seller. I'm a high margin seller, so it doesn't really impact me that much. I don't know. I haven't put enough thought into it to really have a strong feeling either way. I do know it's going to hurt the low margin sellers, right? So those people who buy in huge quantities and sell for a 10% markup, it's going to hit them hard. Hi, Margaret. Thanks for joining. Yeah, D-Smack. I mean, you can always price adjust, right, guys? Like, my personal feeling right now is if it's going to hit low margin sellers who are bringing down prices on stuff I sell for high margin, I'm probably just going to hold my pricing, right? I might even bring my pricing down a little bit. They're going to get weeded out or have to adjust their prices, which is then going to actually inflate the prices and be better off for high margin people in the long run, I think. That's just my like rough napkin math on how the market will go. But yeah, I don't have a strong feeling on that. I appreciate you asking though. So I just want to share some takeaways I had from February, just especially as like I hit the goal, but the way I hit it was not ideal. Like I legitimately need to take a day off tomorrow just to recoup and decompress. I'm definitely going to thrift because I'm out of inventory. I need to start stocking up. But one thing that I reflected on is keeping pace, like staying consistent day in, day out, actually is the only way I'm going to manage this. I got really lax for like about an 8-day period where I was only listing like 4 or 5 items. And even though I was listing half of what my goal is, it was 12 per day. It just caught up to me so hard at the end. Like having to do 100 items in 4 days was not ideal. Thank goodness I didn't have anything going on this weekend. Better Barbie said there's a merch shirt called Napkin Math. I like that. But yeah, like I just really urge you guys when you start to lay out your goals, and this is how I designed my year, but I didn't stick to it in February, and I'm paying for it now. Is figure out how many items you want to list for the month and break it up daily. Or if you only list on 4 days, break it up over those 4 days and stay consistent on it. I got in a really good rhythm in January, waking up early. I had all my listings done before I went to work. So the evenings were all just like YouTube, research, sourcing, whatever I wanted. And I got away from that in February because I had my new job and just I had that week off. And it just kind of threw me out of my routine. So March is going to be dedicated to hitting those 12 items every day, not being stressed about listing. And then hopefully, I hope I'm going to crack 7,000 in March. I really feel strong about that we're going to get to like 7,500. So we're up to 32 viewers. So I really appreciate you guys watching. This is super impromptu, and I appreciate you guys dropping in. Hit that like button if you're enjoying just kind of chilling and relaxing. Let's see some questions going on. Let me try to address them. Eric said, if the cost of doing business goes up, the cost of the product goes up. It's simple business stuff. It will definitely eat the low margin sellers. Yeah, I totally agree, Eric. I think that the higher margin ones, it's not going to hurt that all, and the low margin ones are going to get hit. No TV says a question, how much do you list your Brooks Brothers dress shirts? There's a lot in Rochester. I list all mine for $24.99, but I run a continuous 20% off sale. So it ends up being $19.99, and same for my Ralph Lauren. Hi, Thrift Shop Hustler. Thanks for joining. Appreciate you stopping in for the first time. Hi, Thread King. Rhino said, so it's better to list every day instead of listing all at once. Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, if I was full-time, I don't think I would list every day. I've thought a lot about this. If and when I do go full-time, I think I would probably source all my items in 2 days during the week, and I'd probably list all my items for 3 days or 4 days. I just think that makes more sense from a batch and efficiency perspective. But for me, part-time, working around my schedule, I don't have big chunks of time very often where I can just pound out a ton of listings. So staying consistent every day is just huge for me. I also think it helps you in the algorithm a little bit, in the search algorithm, being an active store where you're putting up new listings every day. Aaron asked, question, are you set up as an LLC? So that's a question for another chat, and I do want to have a separate one about that, a show, and I will in the future. I have an LLC set up. I haven't taken advantage of it yet. And for anyone who's savvy with taxes, may understand that or may not, but we can have a separate discussion about that. Spencer said, do you think being a reseller makes your finance job more enjoyable? For me, I would go nuts if all I had was my career. So having this side business keeps me engaged in both, right? Like I get a mental break from each when I swap back and forth. That's why when people are like, hey, when are you ever going to go full time? It's like, I really don't have an answer for you. Some days I'm like, yeah, like I can't stand this. I need to get out of here. Like I can't have anyone tell me what to do. Other days I'm like, oh, this is great balance. For right now, I don't have any kids. I'm engaged, but you know, our schedules play off each other pretty well, and I'm able to play sports and do the things I want. So right now, I'm doing both just works for me. So I'll do that as long as I can and bank as much money as I can whenever I do make that switch. I'm also very social. I don't know if you could tell that about me, but I'm very social. So I don't know what I would do in isolation yet. I'm going to have to really plan for if that happens, how I'm going to handle that. No TV said, have you seen an increase in sale just by doing 20% off? Yeah, definitely. I've seen a huge benefit, and I didn't really, this isn't an original thought. Actually, Casey the Rockstar Flippers, who I saw it from first, that he just runs continuous sales. So I just started pricing myself 20% higher than I want to sell it for, and then I run a 20% off sale just 2 days at a time. So it's always expiring every 2 days. So the buyer who's watching an item always thinks it's about to expire, or anyone stumbles upon it thinks they only have a day to act on the sale price. So I think it just creates urgency with your buyer, and I think it can't hurt anyways. Aaron Anderson, question, how can I reach you to discuss that? Would you like some advice? Yeah, my email is attached to my YouTube. It's entrepreneursllc@gmail.com. You know, feel free to shoot me an email. I exchange emails with people all the time. Just so you know, guys, if you do email me about the spreadsheet or anything else like that, if I don't get back to you in the first couple of days, don't be offended. I try to do my emails in batches, so like every couple of days, I'll just reply to everyone all at once. So please don't be offended if I don't reply right away. I care about all the emails I get. I love interacting with you guys. So Charles Hurley said, your yearly planning breakdown has been really helpful for me. Thanks. I'm glad it's been helpful to you. And again, I can't take credit. That model that I found to do that was from Peter Voog. If you've ever heard of 6 months to 6 figures, he's a pretty intense like entrepreneur, self-development person. He was one of like his audiobooks probably been one of the most influential in my eBay business. That and The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Highly recommend you guys if you have a job. Audiobooks are fantastic at work if they allow it. I have Audible. I spend a lot of my time listening to, so definitely check those out, guys. Michelle, I'm glad you like that tip. And like I said, I can't really, this is the truth, not much that I do in my business is not an original idea, right? Like I've either got it from other sellers who are successful, I found it from researching, whatever. Like I just take all the things that I think work well and try to mesh them together. Spencer said, I have a pile of clothing. Any advice for getting started? Sold the one shirt I have listed so far, but mostly sell hard goods. So my only real tip to that is if you have a pile of clothing, sort it by type so that when you sell, you can click sell similar. So I'd sort all my dress shirts into a pile, all my polos into a pile, all my pants into a pile. That way, when you're listing, it can be more efficient. Just list it though, right? Picture it all, measure it all, and list it all. There's no time like the present. I truly believe that. Putting things off and thinking you're just going to do them all at once, I mean, it barely worked out for me this month, and I'm paying for it right now. I'll just keep watching the chat here. The other thing that I think for reflecting on February is I've definitely seen my mental attitude when sales get down. One thing that helps offset is I list more. So like early in the month, February was terrible for me. And I looked at my listing totals and I was listing like crazy in the beginning. And I remember I'd come home from work and I'd be ticked because I had like one sale. So I'd pound out double the listings. And then the problem was when they started to ramp up, I kind of stepped back and took it easy because like, oh, sales are rolling now. And I'm doing half the listings per day. And so I just think, again, getting back to that consistency factor makes it a huge deal. Mr. Mint Hit said, do you have a top 5 list for your favorite personal development books? Yeah, so like I said, Compound Effect and Peter Voogd's 6 Months to Six Figures, without a doubt. They're up there. Yeah, I love Grant Cardone's 10X. And guys, when I say this, this isn't an endorsement on any of these people. It's just an endorsement on the content. So don't confuse those things. And then I've got to put pretty much every single one of Gary Vaynerchuk's books is in my top 5. I mean, I know that puts me over 5, but every single one of his books should go in one category. They're all worth reading. They're all amazing. I watch all his videos every day, all his new stuff that comes out while I'm at work. And I'm trying to think of, the other one that's kind of not everyone knows about is Jim Rohn has this book, and I think it's called, shoot, I can't remember it. It's like a compilation of all of his things, and it's on Audible. Yeah, gosh, I can't remember. I'm gonna have to put in the description later when I look it up. But it's now I gotta Google it. Gosh darn it, it's gonna bother me. I think it's really good, and like Jim Rohn's kind of one of those greats, right? He's like the historical great, kind of first into that self-development scene. You know, one of those guys. Jim Rohn audiobook. Let's see what we got here. Oh, still can't find. I thought it'd pop up right away. I don't want to waste time on it. But in any case, that would definitely be in my top one. That would go in there as well. Michelle asks, how long does it take you to list daily on average? So if I'm listing my standard items that I'm comfortable with, so like dress shirts, I can prep and list. I mean, photo, measure, everything, list start to finish 12 dress shirts in like 2 hours probably. And that's on the high end. I mean, if I'm super focused, I probably could do it in like an hour and 45. Blazers take a little longer. I would say like 2.5. Suits especially. Pants are super fast for me, probably same as dress shirts. And guys, once you have a ton of listings up, listing becomes quicker. Oh, thank you, Bob. You're awesome. The Art of Exceptional Living. Yes. Highly recommend that to everyone. He's actually, and Jim's pretty funny, actually. He has a really sarcastic sense of humor. It's fun to listen to. But yeah, once you have a bunch of inventory up, Michelle, it'll also be easier to hit sell similar, and that'll speed up your listing process. Let me see. Question from ESP. I don't know if that's how you want to pronounce it or not, but I sold the shirt and the buyer's address was wrong. Would you change shipping to ship it to the correct address or ship for free again? Charge shipping. Oh, okay. It's $20 shirt and you already paid $4 the first time. So the buyer provided the wrong address and then he never corrected it, or did he send you a message and you forgot to change it? Because I've had both happen to me. I've had a buyer send me a message and say, hey, I forgot to change the address. Can you please ship it to this one? I didn't realize my default was wrong. I always change it and do it. Caveat, you should know you are not protected by eBay once you change the shipping address. I never cared about it. I always chalk it up to, for whatever reason, it's a scam. It's a scam. It's one item. I can deal with it. If it was something super expensive, like a couple $100 item, I might not do that. I've also had where they've sent me a message and I've forgotten to change it, sent it the wrong address, and it got returned. I paid again the shipping, sent it because it was my fault. It's kind of up to you how you want to do it. I always err on being overly customer friendly. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, is that $4 going to hurt you more than if you get a negative feedback? And I don't know if negative feedback is going to hurt you that much once you have a ton, but early on, especially if you're a seller, having that raving feedback of this issue happened and you want above and beyond to fix it, I think it's better for your business long term. Charles Hurley just asked, when you ship men's jeans, do you stuff them in a priority flat rate envelope? So I've had a little bit of criticism on this, but I'll just tell you the way it is. So yes, I ship all of them in the cardboard flat rate ones. Yes, I know it's against USPS guidelines. However, it is up to each individual postmaster at their post office whether they let it go or not. I've had a personal conversation with our postmaster and made sure that it is okay, and he has assured me that they process all of those, especially if you drop them in the overnight bin. And the reason for that is that they don't have to process those up front. So especially when you drop them in the overnight bin, they're just scanning them. They're not even weighing them, not checking them. They're just processing them through. Their big issue is when you come in line, stop the line and have all these different things you shouldn't have. So that's just my take. That's my personal experience. It is not the letter of the law, but that's how I do it. It's $5.95 with my discount, and that's how it should be. Spencer M, is Peter Millar Summer Comfort the one that you like from that brand? Yeah, I love the Summer Comfort line. It's the dry fit polo line for Peter Millar. I sell their cotton stuff too. Cotton only sells for like $19.99 usually for me. The Summer Comforts I can get in like the high 20s, low 30s. No TV said, could you link your Excel spreadsheet? Seems like a great way to organize. The best way for me, guys, to do this, if you want that spreadsheet, you just email me, and then I'll reply with it. It's just the easiest way for me to do it. I have it saved in my computer. It's the easier way for me to do that. So just shoot me an email, guys, and I'll send it back to you when I answer emails next. Hi there, my outboards from California. So we're up to 43 viewers. Thank you guys for stopping in on this impromptu video here. I'm just decompressing now, so I don't know that I have a whole lot of other major points other than don't procrastinate and get stuck having to do 100 listings in 4 days. That's really all I can say. I hope that you guys are crushing your Februaries. I've got probably about 5 more minutes left in me before I pass out, so I will take all the other questions you guys may have. And I'm going to do a full February sales update tomorrow. That'll be the one thing I do. And I'll do like the traditional sales update where I'll pick like 15 unique items and go through the whole ordeal and where I'm at with my challenge and all that stuff. Carlos Delgado said, do you store sport coats and blazers in flat rate envelopes, or do you only put them in there when they sell? Only when they sell. I keep them in just a plastic clear poly bag with my inventory label, and then when they sell, I put them in the self-seal poly bag and then in the flat rate. Better Barbie said, if you drop your packages in the drop box and get no receipt, have you ever had any problems? Not getting scanned in. One time I had it happen, and I never have since. I went and complained about it, and I think they're very sensitive to it now. And they know that I'm bringing, 100, well, no, I'm bringing like 50 packages a week usually. So they're pretty sensitive to it now. My outboard said, how many items do you have listed? I hadn't checked since I just finished these listings, but I'm right around 1,600, probably like 1,590 to 1,600-ish. ESP said, thanks for the tie video. Maybe you could glue a seamless tape measure to the edge of your table. Yeah, so a lot of people have suggested that, and guys, honestly, it's just not that much faster for me. I don't like the picture cluttered. I take the measurement in about 3 seconds tops for both of them, and I do it while I'm in the description anyways, and then throw it in the bin. So I really appreciate the suggestion. It works for some people. For me, it's just it doesn't add a lot of value. And I use that table multi-purpose for a bunch of things. So having it there set for the ties isn't always set for other items. And hopefully when I have like a warehouse or something, I'll be able to have tables preset for all that stuff, and it'll be great. Patrick Panur said, notice in your Excel sheet that your goal of 6,500 and 210 sales doesn't match your $20 ASP. It's actually $30.95. That very well could be. That could be a typo error. I know that I want an average sell price of $28 though, and I want to hit that. 6,500. I'm sorry. The average sell price and the 210 is calculated to get to my $100,000 goal for the year. That's why it doesn't look like that. My sales goal isn't necessarily tied to items sold, which is probably a really poor rated budget, especially the finance guy. But I just kind of reverse engineered it, so that's my fault. Appreciate you catching that. Ryan, there is no place to download the spreadsheet. Just email me and I'll share the blank template. I'll reply back with it. Appreciate the kind words, guys, in the chat, and right back at you guys. I'm equally as motivated hearing how you guys are doing as when I get to share how I'm doing. I mean, this is a two-way street, and it's definitely a lot of good accountability both ways. So, Bob Boyce said, my second month on eBay, I have increased this month 4x from last month. That's awesome, Bob. Shannon, my fiance, just started selling on Saturday. She got her first items up. So I'm really curious to see how fast her trajectory is. I've tried to keep hands off and not tell her what to do too much because she's pretty strong-willed and independent. So she's off and running. I'm curious to see how fast that escalates for her. Diana Anders just received a request to measure collar to bottom of a jogging jacket. Is that the bottom of the collar? Measure collar to bottom. So I would think that's just the length measurement, isn't it, Diana? Anna? Isn't that just like the top of the collar to the bottom? I don't know. That's how I would interpret it. Christina said, I shipped my first whole item today. It was Orvis. Thank you for sharing great information. You are welcome. Orvis is a great brand. Love selling Orvis. Appreciate that, Spencer. See any other questions? Charles said, what percentage do you net on average? So I'll just share my 2016, like my pre-tax net. And when I talk about that, I'm not talking about like your itemization and your write-offs, like your tax advantages, things like that. Like my pre-tax net after cost of goods, my shipping supplies, my eBay fees, PayPal fees, my storage unit, you know, different subscriptions I have, things like that. All that are business-related operating expenses is about 57.5%. So that was what I net. I'm not sure if that's going to change this year. I hope that it goes up. I'm hoping, but we will see. Angie said she's a full-time corporate finance and part-time eBay, so you can definitely relate. Awesome. Yeah, it's not a bad dual role, that's for sure. Yes, Ryan, I agree. Let's crush March. I hope March is everyone's best month. I hope if you're having slow sales in February, you come right out of them fast, and hope that March sets some records for everyone. Flip flops. You heard that? Flip flops just said I heard you're moving to the warehouse next week. I would love that. That's the goal. I strive to be like you. I appreciate all the feedback. For those of you who don't know, so Flip flops in the chat. He gave me my idea for my organization and my storage unit. So big shout out there. I appreciate that. That's why I say, guys, I love the interaction back and forth. I love the information you guys share because I don't know everything. I only know what I know and what I've done so far. So I love getting that feedback. So thank you again for that. I really appreciate it. It saved me a ton of time. And guys, I just love seeing the hustle in the chat. It's pretty cool seeing all you people who are full-time building your businesses. I mean, that's the way to do it, right? Like we all have the same amount of hours, but it's all what you put into it. And Dayton said, love Charlotte. Thanks for the info. What is your percent of sales to listings? Ooh, that's a good question. Well, I sold 240 items this month, and I have just under 1,600. So do a napkin math. I'll use the actual calculator. So I'm just going to assume that. So 15% of my, on a monthly basis, I'm selling like 15% of my inventory, my active listings. So I think that's pretty good. My daily sell-through is like 0.5% or just a little, like right around there, which is, I don't think it'll ever get much higher because I'm a high margin seller. And Josh Derrick just said, do you keep all their business-related expenses in the same spreadsheet, i.e. tape, polybags? Yeah, so that pre-tax net I was talking about, that rolls in all my supplies, my shipping supplies, tape, you know, boxes, just really anything, shoe polish, all those little things. My email is entrepreneursllc@gmail.com. And it's in my YouTube channel as well. You can grab it there. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up here in a minute. Any last minute questions, get them in. Otherwise, I am going to go sleep very, very soundly. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Let me see how many live we have right now. We've got 52 viewers. That is my highest view count, so I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much. I hope you guys' February's finished strong, and I hope you all wake up to double the sales you go to bed looking at. That would be nice, huh? Have a great night, guys. Really enjoy you coming out. We'll talk soon.